Hey, social media family, how are you guys feeling today? I am Ramona Phillips, the Healthy Mind Strategist, helping hurting people grow past that trauma into authentic leadership, regardless of the area of expertise, because you know why? We've all been through trauma. I also help empower the global mental health community. I am a radio talk show host on Reach Gospel Radio. I am a speaker and best-selling author and certified self-awareness coach. So once again, how are you feeling today? Because our feelings are so important. In other words, we must be aware of how we feel. Anyway, welcome to Get It Right. Welcome to Get It Right. God wants us to get our mindsets right. Now, don't be afraid. He helps us with that. He wants us to get our hearts right. Don't be scared, because God helps to heal the heart, change the heart, right? Renew the heart, right? God created me a clean heart, renew a right spirit within me. You know, because sometimes life is lifing. We're going through tests, trials, and tribulations. We've been through trauma. Sometimes it's past trauma. Sometimes it's very recent. Excuse me. Sometimes it's very recent trauma. So we're going to feel some emotions. Well, sometimes we're going to stuff them because we're so overwhelmed that we start to stuff them. But then here comes that anxiety as we're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Or we're afraid of something else is coming while we're trying to deal with what we're recently been dealing with, in other words. So anyway, it's important that we stop running from our feelings and acknowledge if I'm feeling angry, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm feeling oppressed or depressed, right? Am I feeling fearful? Am I feeling insecure? Insecurity is a feeling. Don't you get tired? People talking about you insecure. If somebody says to you, you're insecure, you let them know I wasn't born insecure. I sometimes feel insecure. And guess what? So do you. You do too. We all feel insecure sometimes. I did a workshop on that just very, very recently. People loved it because God, just before I started, right in the very beginning, I heard the Holy Spirit say, deal with the shame. Talk to the people about the shame, because usually people feel as if they're being shamed if someone says you're insecure. No, insecurity is a feeling just like any other emotion. Sometimes we all feel insecure. We feel like we can't do it. Sometimes we feel like we're not good enough. Sometimes we feel like we're not going to make it, right? Sometimes we're afraid something is going to happen. Those evil forebodings, right? Sometimes we all feel insecure, right? At work, can't do the job. Maybe I didn't get the job. You know, we feel insecure sometimes, not 24 hours a day, because there are times when we feel very confident, and there are times when we feel like we can take on the world. We must remember that we're human too, and give ourselves permission to be human. Now, there are times when we don't feel so good, right? But when we act as if, or we fake it until we make it, and I'm going to talk about that whole fake it until we make it today, or get it right. Because some people, they hear that, and I think it triggers fear in them, or trigger feelings of insecurity. But fake it till you make it is a recovery term. It does not mean deceive someone. Act like you like them and you don't, right? It does not mean... Let me go back. Hold on. I'm in my car. And as a matter of fact, God downloaded this message in me yesterday, and I just started writing it. So I want to read what I wrote, because I don't want to leave anything out, okay? So the topic today on Get It Right is fake it until you make it. It also means act as if. Act as if. It is a recovery term. Basically, it means you might not always feel like it, but don't let your mood affect your movement, as my pastor would say, right? You don't always feel like taking that walk, right? Right? Act as if, fake it until you make it. This does not mean to pretend or deceive anyone. I think this is where the misunderstanding comes from, where feelings, negative feelings come up, and people like, fake it till you make it. Yeah, fake it till you make it. I've seen people get an attitude about this. I've seen leaders talk about it with an attitude because they don't really know what it means. It's a recovery term. It's a simple meaning that is usually overthought. Do what you know you need to do, such as your goals, Fake it until you make it, or act as if. In other words, you may not feel like it. You may not feel like doing certain things today or feel like going to the gym. But the bottom line is you act as if you feel like it. In other words, you go ahead and do it anyway. Trying that new hobby. Maybe you're feeling fearful or insecure about it. Just get up and do it. You might not feel like it. You might not look like you want to do it, right? When you get there, but then all of a sudden you start feeling better, right? You may not feel like taking that job. You may have a little fear about it. Get started on writing the book. Maybe you still have a little uncertainty about it. You know what? Get up and act as if you want to do it. And then eventually the emotions will line up with the action. Getting on the plane, how about that one? Never flew before? Well, act as if. Get in that line, because people can't really, many times people don't really know how you're feeling. So you get in that line and you go ahead and get on that plane, right? And you're acting as if, just like everyone else. In other words, a lot of people that are flying, sometimes they still feel a little anxious, a little insecure, because they're not sure what's going to happen. Just pray before you get on that plane. Don't leave the house without prayer. Getting back in the car after an accident, how about that one? Fake it till you make it. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little anxious. But I'm going to act as if. I'm going to act as if I know that I can do this. I know that God is with me. I know that everything's going to be okay. Right? I know that God is still protecting me. Excuse me. Facing the phobias. Facing the phobias. How many people face their phobias? They're acting as if they're not afraid, but deep down inside, they're still afraid. But when we take the action, when we step out in faith, guess what? The emotions line up. Peace will eventually return. Choosing to believe in yourself. Feel the feelings, but do what you know you need to do. Act as if. Fake it until you make it. Just get up and go ahead and do it, right? And eventually, the emotions will line up. Fake it until you make it, or act as if simply means do what may feel hard. Do what may feel hard to you. And eventually, the emotions will line up. The mind and body will connect. The mind and body will connect, and peace will come. You may not feel like it. You may not believe, we may not believe we're good enough. We may be afraid of being rejected. How about that one? Feel we may be judged. How about that one? But we get up on that stage and we do what we need to do. We show up anyway. We show up anyway. Feelings are not facts, right? Feelings are not facts. That's why we show up anyway. We do it anyway. We write it anyway, right? Feelings are not facts. That's why it's important that we are acknowledging what that feeling is. That's really important. Am I feeling scared right now, nervous or anxious? Well, I am. Let me pray about it. Let me breathe, and let me show up, right? We can think and process and make positive moves even in the midst of discomfort, y'all. This little saying that so many have been offended by simply means go forward. If you're not comfortable with saying fake it till you make it, then say act as if. Act as if. Act as if. Act as if. I know that all is well and everything is going to work out for my good. Act as if. I know I can do this job, right? I know I can show up for that opportunity or that experience. Act as if. Act as if. In other words, walk by your faith. This little saying that so many have been offended by simply means go forward. Do it afraid. Do it no matter how you feel. Do it even when you don't feel as confident while coming out of your comfort zone. Face the fear. Face the fear. Act as if you're not afraid. Just step out and do it. Face the fear and feelings of insecurity. You know, when we face our fears, we get stronger we get stronger. We get more confident, right? when we face whatever it is that we need to face. Maybe you need some therapy and you're scared to go get therapy. You're afraid of what someone is going to say. Well, act as if you're not afraid and just go do it. Make the move and trust God. Affirm that you are enough while you're acting as if. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little afraid. I'm not sure if I can really do this, but I'm fearfully, wonderfully, and marvelously made. God gave me the opportunity. This is a God opportunity. I can exercise. I can do certain things. I have the limbs to do it, right? I'm blessed to be able to take a walk, because some people can't even walk and want to walk, right? Excuse me. Affirm that you are enough. Affirm what God says about you. Think of what you know you have done well. Think of the things that you know you have done well, right? Now get up and get to moving. Act as if you did it before. Do it again. It's something new. Act as if you did it before and go do it, right? Show up. Show up for you. Show up for God. Think about the gifts that God has placed in you and move forward. Don't allow your mood to affect your movement. That's what faking until you make it means. That's what act as if means. Fake it until you make it, or act as if simply means